Welcome back to the Morning After podcast. Today we're stepping into a stormy January night in 1816 to tell the tale of a lonely monster stitched together from the parts that society chose to forget.
Sometimes I feel like a lonely monster.
It's okay. It'll all be okay.
Thank you.
Mary Shelley was only 18 years old when she wrote Frankenstein, a cultural giant that didn't just change science fiction forever, but also pushed us to rethink our own strive for greatness and forced us to think about what it really means to be a monster.
And personally, I remember going over this in high school and reading the book. I mean, I don't remember a lot about the book, but I did just also watch the new movie. Didn't finish it. But it was good. It was interesting. I was enjoying it. I need to finish. But I'm excited to dive deeper and get a better understanding. So what do you feel about the story?
I feel like I agree. I'm definitely excited to dive deeper into everything about the story. Overall, from what I know about the story, I feel like it really spoke a lot to me. It can categorize just everything that you can go through in life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a lot that you can take from it.
Absolutely. I agree. So, on today's episode, we will be talking about the original Frankenstein movie. We will be covering some cultural representations and misrepresentations, and then we're going to finish off with talking about the new Guillermo del Toro adaptation.
And the new Guillermo del Toro adaptation is exactly why Frankenstein is on my Hear Me Out gate. Because Jacob Elordi, that's Baby Daddy, Saltburn, I'm sorry, but Nate Jacobs, yes but no.
Yes but no.
He's scary. He's a scary being.
He is a scary man.
But he would take me down.
Okay.
Wait.
Wait, did I just say that?
Wait, no, I take that
about those stitches.
Absolutely not.
And today we have our special friend Nyhia with us, who is a fellow Frankenstein lover. So, grab your drinks, dim your lights, and let's reawaken the story of Frankenstein together.
All right, cheers.
Today's drink, we have the Monster Margarita. So, we're going to start off with some ice in our cups. We have our tequila, Hornitos, not sponsored. Let's give her a good pour.
Okay.
Trying to have fun.
Okay. Give me a little more in mine.
Oh.
Yeah, there.
Don't mind if I do. Top me off a little bit too. Okay. Next we need our sweet and sour. So we're gonna be really generous with this one.
That's good.
Okay.
Let's whack with it.
Okay. Little bit of lime.
Oh, that stinks.
We have Rose's sweet and lime juice.
This guy stinks. Sorry.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. That was a little generous, but. And then we're gonna end with our sweet pucker sour apple.
Where's
this
the
is
sweet
it tastes really sweet. So this is gonna give us our nice green monster look.
Okay, look at us go.
And now we're gonna mix them up.
Where's my straw?
Would you hand me mine?
Alright.
Yeah, where's your drink? Wait, where's Nyhia's drink? Go get your drink and we'll cheers.
He just told me no.
Oh. No?
Right,
Cheers! Let's taste her.
Oh, that's a lot of tequila.
It's a little strong.
Mine's good.
It's decent though. Or whatever.
Or whatever. That's kind of what we're looking for, so.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, give me a little more too.
Oh. We have some weaklings.
Whoa.
That's
okay
crazy.
To be scared of.
Better.
Okay. I can do that.
All right. Let's get back to the video.
Alright.
So let's jump back in time for a minute. We're going to go to Geneva, Switzerland in 1816. Okay.
Excited.
So part of the reason why I think Frankenstein is such a monumental piece of literature in general and so interesting is in part because of its creation story, and that's what I want to start with today.
I do know this.
Yes. So Nyhia, I think this is a lot of new information for you, and I'm really excited.
Okay.
So overall, Mary Shelley, the author, is a very fascinating writer to me. She is the daughter, and I just found this out recently, that she's the daughter of Mary Wollstonecraft, who actually studied in college. If you don't know who that is, she's a huge advocate for women's rights in a time when there was enough that was enough to make you a dejected outcast in society. So she actually wrote.
Isn't this early 1800s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In late 1700s, actually, when her mother was writing.
Yeah.
So she wrote A Vindication on the Rights of Women, where she made the argument that women were not naturally inferior to men. They just did not receive adequate education, which obviously is monumental in the time for someone to be so outspoken about that topic.
Absolutely.
And you can actually see themes of gender equality and gender rights and the issues pertaining that in a lot of Mary Shelley's works, and we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. So we see a lot of the impact that Shelley's mother had on her throughout her depictions of femininity and womanhood, especially in Frankenstein, especially through Elizabeth's character, both in the movie and the novel. But we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more later.
Okay.
Unfortunately, her mother did die 11 years after giving birth to Shelley due to complications, but she still carried her mother's legacy, as she was basically raised in the shadow of her mother's beliefs and ideology about women's equality. So in her childhood, Shelley was incredibly smart and gifted at writing from a young age. Keep in mind that she did have a very privileged and wealthy upbringing, so this plays a part in why she's as a phenomenal writer as she is. But she had a lot of access to her father's book collection, which helped develop her love for writing. She was a pretty weird child, which kind of makes sense.
Who isn't?
Yeah, seriously. She loved to daydream and write by her mother's grave, which is kind of sad.
Oh.
As she grew up, she improved her writing and eventually married another influential writer of the time, Percy Shelley, and that's where she gets the name Shelley. Technically, her name is Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Okay.
Ooh, very
so now,
gothic.
Imagine, again, it's 1816. We're in Geneva, Switzerland, a beautiful Swiss city near the French border and the Swiss Alps. So we're up in the mountains. Now imagine you and all your friends have been outcasted by popular society. So you all meet up for a summer in Lake Geneva to escape the very society that has outcasted you, and we go on vacation. We have with us Lord Byron, who was a phenomenal British poet, but also an arrogant dickhead.
Okay.
He had a violent temper and somehow a captivating personality. So you can imagine that mixture.
A beautiful man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was actually very physically attractive, which is part of his allure.
They get me every time.
I know.
Yeah. And along with Byron, he brought his physician, a 20-year-old aspiring poet, who he often bullied for this very fact that he was aspiring.
Okay.
So, again, a very arrogant dickhead.
Right.
With a bit of insecurity.
Yes, but he was actually one of the most well-known British poets. And he's written a lot of poetry, short stories, and things that are very influential. So,
is he well-known like after his lifetime or during as well?
both.
Good question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so fuck a Byron.
Fuck Lord Byron.
You're mad.
Fuck Lord
You're
Byron.
mad.
You're mad.
He's a lord. What could you expect? Like,
Hello,
Yeah.
my lord. Pick number 3, my lord.
Okay. Then we have Percy Shelley, Mary's husband, who at this time was deemed a radical because he was an atheist.
Love that about
very
him.
strong atheist, actually. He believed in strong ideas about democracy as well, and really just doing whatever the hell he wanted, which obviously was looked down upon.
Right.
Pretty interesting guy. Also, apparently he practiced some occult rituals, which pissed off his wealthy family, and they kicked him out.
Oh.
So.
No money.
So far we're off to a great start in our nice Switzerland summer getaway.
Right. We're all
So
hated,
who's paying for
poor, and
Exactly.
bored.
Then we have Mary Shelley's stepsister, Claire Claremont, who basically is the
Her
reason.
parents hated her.
I love it.
Claire Claremont.
That's beautiful.
She's kind of the reason for all of this, actually. Interestingly, she was having an affair with Lord Byron, and she...
Because he was captivating.
Yes.
Because he was
because
captivating.
She begged her stepsister, Mary Shelley, and her husband, Percy Shelley, to come to this Geneva, Switzerland getaway because she wanted to see Lord Byron, who she was having an affair with. Scandalous.
Whore.
Yeah.
She just wanted to be there for bye-bye.
Did you hear the W?
For bye-bye time. Did you hear the W?
The W was in there.
And this is where it all began. Okay? So during this summer that they were together, All joined by their rejection from London society, they enjoyed the beautiful lake coast and the Swiss mountainscape. However, this summer was particularly wet and rainy due to an eruption from a volcano that literally caused a giant aerosol cloud to block the sun.
Oh,
So that's magnificent.
is
the Earth pretty much the
aerosol
whole
not
summer.
what's like? What's aerosol? Like an aerosol can?
That's not a question for this podcast.
Wrong
I don't
space.
have an answer for that.
Wrong air.
Anyways.
So the conditions were perfect for a horror story.
Oh,
This was
love it.
literally called The Haunted Summer. If you search The Haunted Summer of 1816, you'll get information about this very...
I think I've heard of that.
You might have.
We're there right now, but we're in the winter.
Haunted Winter.
Haunted winter of
2025.
It's creeping
2025.
amongst us.
So Lord Byron, in this haunted summer, because there was really nothing to do because the weather was so bad, was particularly bored one day and proposed they all take up the challenge of who could write the best horror story, and the rest is history.
We
Yeah.
should do that.
See, I didn't know any part of this except for that part. I just knew that it was like a challenge of like who can write the
Yeah.
best horror story while they were trapped in a house because of a winter storm.
Yeah.
So like
And
I
Miss
didn't know that
Mary
that lore.
Shelley won.
And she did win.
And
Oh,
she
And
did
we're
win.
gonna see why. Okay. Now, before we get into talking about Frankenstein itself and the story, I do think it's really important to talk about historical context into why Frankenstein was as popular as it was.
Okay.
A lot of this you can actually see in the Guillermo del Toro adaptation. I think he does a really good job of setting the scientific aspects of the story. He does a good job of setting that up for us so we can really see that in the story, and that's kind of why Frankenstein was this cultural giant that it was.
Okay.
So at this time in London, there was this huge fascination with science in general, science advancements, technology. The Industrial Revolution was taking place, specifically with electricity and galvanism. Does this sound familiar at all? Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of galvanism?
Oh, galvanism, no. Electricity, yes.
Okay.
I think I have experience with electricity.
If you had to guess what you think galvanism means, what do you think?
Something along. It shouldn't be right, but people are doing it anyway.
That's a good point. Hold on to that idea.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses?
Okay, wait. Love me a Galvin. Like a theory of like science being more than religion. Is
That's a good
gonna
guess.
Be my guess.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So, it's basically sending electrical currents to stimulate nerves and muscles.
Okay, so I was dead on.
She said,
Depending on how you look at it, yes. So, again, if you've seen the Guillermo del Toro movie, you can see this happening.
no,
And him
because
Yeah.
experimenting with electricity, trying to
Yeah.
bring the muscles to life.
what really like was the craziest first thing to me in the movie was when he was doing his presentation, like to the school.
Yeah.
Yes!
And it was like
yeah.
that partial body. I was like, this is like,
Disturbing.
yeah, like it was
And
crazy.
they were saying that. They were like, you
Yeah.
cannot
They're like,
play
this is
this. You're
wrong.
playing
Yeah.
Well,
God.
that's why I say he did a really good job of encapsulating that, because that
Mhm.
was the actual reaction in
Mhm.
real life to this type of science. It was disturbing.
Yeah.
That would be.
It was seen as like you're going against God. You're
Mhm.
doing something that is not godly. Like
Yeah.
you
Yes.
are trying to take control in your own hands, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
Nobody should have that much power to be able to do that.
Yeah, and it was just fucking weird too. So
Mm-hmm.
it was brought into visibility when an Italian scientist in the 18th century, so the 1700s, experimented with opposing metals. So he took copper and iron and noticed that when he put these together, a dead frog's leg twitched when he used the
Ooh.
metals to create an electrical current. And he would see that this dead animal is moving. So he pieced it together that this is because of the electrical current. It can stimulate the nerves and the muscles and make it move.
Wow, that's
Okay.
interesting.
And obviously, this was a huge point of fascination in the pursuit of scientific knowledge
I'm
in this
fascinated.
time. Yeah.
Personally,
I'm
And this was only
dumbfounded.
I
part
want
of
to go
it.
get it.
What I think is so interesting, so again, this is a huge topic in Frankenstein. It shows up in the novel, it shows up in the movie. Mary Shelley would often overhear conversations about this topic from her husband Percy and Lord Byron talking about this, which, due to how new the concept was,
Okay.
she had the belief in, like, it was the general assumption that it could actually bring dead animals and dead
Yeah.
organisms back to life.
It was the
Okay.
beginning of discovering this,
Like
and
how
she
to
just
rise
had
the dead.
creativity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why, but this like vaguely just reminds me of how they like cloned like extinct animals and
Yeah.
have like brought them back in like recent science.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just kind of like, I feel like it
Well,
mirrors that in a
This
sense.
era was a huge era of exploration with science and animals.
Mhm.
That makes me think of another practice, which is my next point actually. Have you guys ever heard of vivisection before?
No.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Well, if you don't know, vivisection is basically experimenting on live animals,
Okay.
like surgery on
And
live
dissection
animals.
is of
Yes.
dead animals. Okay, that
Alive.
makes sense. No, I'm
Vivi-
saying dissection
Yeah.
is of dead
Oh
animals.
yes,
so that
yes.
makes sense.
Vivisection is while they're
Okay.
alive. So they
Okay.
would.
That's insane.
This is really like
Just
messed
to
up, but they would like.
see what would happen to them.
Yeah, they would like cut open like animal skulls and experiment on them while they were still living.
Oh my
which was
god. Like
A huge
poke at their brain and
Yeah.
stuff like
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
to see what would react
Now,
in a living. That's so messed
dark.
up.
yeah, it's very dark, but I feel like around that time, people just wanted to know
That
what was
and
going on
It was the general
with
belief
life.
at that time that animals were below humans. So
Mhm.
biblically, animals were not equal to humans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they did not have the same.
Feelings, emotions, they couldn't
Exactly.
understand, comprehend what was going on.
So it was seen
who
as
cares?
morally, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously, as time went on, there was a lot of moral objections to that,
Mhm.
and the practice kind of died out. And there was a lot of arguments. There was
PETA.
novels written for it.
PETA, coffee.
PETA existed. So
They would
yeah.
be furious.
This really, really led people to question the morality behind these types of experiments, and it just begged the question: is this even worth it? Is this knowledge worth what we're actually doing to these animals and these living things?
No, yeah.
And what will the consequences of all of this be? And I think Mary Shelley is a genius in her ability to directly confront both of these questions in Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I agree.
So that brings me into now talking about Frankenstein.
Oh,
So I want to get into just an
We're
overview
here.
of the novel for those of you who have never read Frankenstein or watched it, just some general information about what Frankenstein is about.
perfect.
I read Frankenstein originally a few years ago when I was in college, and immediately I fell in love with it. I think, first of all, it's accessible. So even though it was written in the early 1800s,
Mhm.
it's not that hard to understand what's happening, which is why I had a good time reading it. And again, just the topics covered, like you said, it's so relatable to everybody. Like no matter who you are, at some point you felt social isolation, you
You
felt
can pull something.
being an outcast, and Mary Shelley perfectly describes what this is like.
And there's a lot of confusion, I feel like he's genuinely confused.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about
Of the reactions.
the topic
Yeah.
of confusion
Yeah.
as well.
My thing is, I feel like that's why I really want to read it again now as an adult,
Mhm.
because I read it in high school when I didn't care about high school or didn't care about
Just playing
reading.
around with
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, I have to do this for an assignment.
Mhm.
But like, I wasn't like focused on the story, and I also wasn't an avid reader at the time, and now I
Right.
am. So I feel like I would get really into it.
I agree.
I think you definitely should.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely want to really get into the novel
We should
of
start
it.
a book club.
We should. We should. We
So
should.
you've read the book before in high school,
In high school, but I really don't remember a lot except for the main ideas of it.
right?
So like what it was trying to emphasize about society is kind of the only thing I remember of reading the book. I remember literally just them having pitchforks and torches and like
Yeah,
hunting
the
him
mob.
down. The mob. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the only part I really remember from reading the book, because I was like, this is getting crazy.
Yeah. And you haven't read it, but you've seen the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've never read it, basically the way the novel is set up is it's an epistolary novel, meaning it's written through letters that take place over the course of several years.
Hmm.
So it's all written through various letters sent back and forth between characters over the course of
Oh, that's
Victor's
beautiful.
kind of as he moves from being a teen into adulthood.
That's so you coded.
I love that.
Yeah.
Really is.
What?
You should read it.
I was gonna
I
say-
would love that.
Oh, I need
So
to.
it
I will.
follows Victor Frankenstein, who was a young, brilliant, and way overly ambitious Swiss scientist who risked it all in the name of science. But this leaves him feeling guilt-ridden and disillusioned by the very thing that he created, the monster. The story is a lot more complicated than this, though, since it becomes really difficult to determine who the actual monster is the further you go into the story and you learn the nuances of the characters. The monster that he ends up creating is an 8-foot-tall creature patched together of miscellaneous body parts and then galvanized to life through electricity. He's incredibly strong, but yet he has the mind of a small infant who is learning how to be alive for the first time, which is ironic because this is actually his second time. His story is explained within Victor's story, and then Victor's story is explained within the captain's story. So
Okay.
we see Victor become obsessed with galvanization and just the idea of reanimation and what that could mean, how that could be possible, despite multiple warnings from colleagues, from family members, from people who told him, what are you doing? How far are you going to take this? And where will this lead you if you keep making these choices?
Yeah.
And again, you see this throughout the whole Guillermo del Toro adaptation. He eventually succeeds in patching together random human body parts and then bringing this patchwork creature to life, and the monster is reborn. So now I think it's really important to talk about the monster, because I think the characterization of this monster is what drives the story. Obviously, if you don't understand that character, you don't understand the backbone of the whole story.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, this is a really common misconception, but the monster is not named Frankenstein.
I did know that.
Me too.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this because I think pop culture is just Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's named after his story, but the thing is, he is Frankenstein's monster, and
Yes.
that is his only name.
Yep.
He is So again, Victor Frankenstein created
Is
him.
him.
He is Frankenstein's monster. Understanding this is really important to his characterization, because the fact that he doesn't actually have a name is really important to understanding the fact that like he's isolated from the rest of humanity. Also, him being Frankenstein's monster shows like he was created by this man who kind of takes ownership over him, but then completely abandons him.
To just be a thing.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
a thing. He's not a person. So it's really important to understand the fact that he doesn't have a name, because that's how you understand how isolated and separated he is from just humanity in general.
Right.
So once Victor eventually realizes that he fucked up and he created things
And that he did.
doesn't understand, he made this monster that he can't control, he doesn't really understand.
The depths of him.
Yeah, he completely abandons the monster and leaves him to fend for himself, which is when the moral dilemma of the story really starts to develop. I think if you look into the story, Victor Frankenstein has a complicated relationship with his own family, which in turn, he doesn't understand how to take care of this monster that he's created. The monster has a fucked up relationship with his creator, which in turn leaves the monster to not know how he needs to act. And it's just like this cycle and cycle
The cycle
repeating
of
itself.
life.
Yeah, of just family trauma. So the monster is obviously not human. He's put together, he's 8 feet tall, he's strong, he's put together of like random body parts, and therefore he's unable to integrate into society. He looks horrifying. This
In a good way.
in a good way.
When you put it in Guillermo del Toro's movie,
It's in a good way. So in the novel, he actually ends up looking into the mirror and realizing how terrifying
Crazy
he looks.
Yeah, and he doesn't
Yeah,
look like
and this is
everyone
one of
else
like kind of the
that he
initial
sees.
moments where his feelings
Everything
toward
shifts.
his feelings toward Victor start to develop when he realizes like, you created me to look like this. There is no possible way I'm going to function in a society with humans. And this is when we kind of first start to see that realization sink into the monster. The only person he grows a connection with throughout the whole story is this Parisian exile named DeLacy, who grows a connection with him since he cannot see the monster physically. He's blind. He can only feel the monster's spirit. He can connect with him emotionally, but he can't see him. So there's really no way for him to have that initial fear of him. So it's an opportunity for people to understand who the monster is without that terror of seeing him physically.
And for him to find himself for
Yeah.
once.
Exactly. So through his interactions with this blind Parisian man, DeLacy, the monster is able to learn how to speak clearly. He learns how to read. He learns how to write. And then beyond this, he obviously learns what an actual human connection feels like for the first time, because Victor wasn't really as nurturing.
I was about to say, do we even meet this man in the movie? Forgetting that
Most
whole part.
amazing
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
What?
it's like not long after that section of the movie,
Yeah.
to not like spoil anything, but that section of the movie
Mm-hmm.
that I like
That's
was
where-
distracted
oh,
and didn't see the
oh.
end.
Yeah, we
but,
see him, like,
I
You must
see
go back.
his part.
Yeah.
No, I remember his part. It's until she said blind and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, so he initially, if you've seen the movie or read the book, he hides from them and he's just interacting with them from like the cellar or through the cracks in the walls.
And just finding enjoyment
Learning
in what
from
they're
them
doing.
and-
Just seeing like a healthy relationship
Yeah.
and seeing what real communication and connection looks like.
And what life could be.
Exactly. And seeing like
The
the parent-child relationship. He's just a child, like he's a baby.
Yeah.
And he never
He's just a
had
baby.
parents to raise him. So when he sees that,
Imagine raising yourself after
No.
not even knowing how to talk. Like, that's what it's
yeah, that's essentially what happens.
At least you're 8 feet tall and stronger than everyone else around you to defend
Yeah.
yourself.
But you look fucking
But
terrifying.
you're
So
horrifying.
How does he know how to defend himself?
He doesn't, but all he has to
That's
do
a
is do
question we
this
need
and
to
you're
know.
thrown across the room, sister.
How does he know to just do that? Those are questions we need to know.
We're learning.
maybe because Victor's treatment of him.
Clock it.
Speaking of Victor, eventually once he spends more time with DeLacy and with seeing this interaction, he starts to realize all of his problems stem from one person, and it's Victor.
The level of understanding that she has in this book of trauma itself is like so developed for the time
Very
as well.
captivating.
Yeah,
Because
for
trauma,
sure.
I feel like, is a not newer, but it's very nuanced now and very
hush
like
hush too.
understood
yeah,
now.
it was very taboo back then. It
Yeah.
wasn't understood at all.
And the levels she can talk about, especially with like, because everyone develops trauma from their parents, but it's like,
Yeah.
even if it's the smallest things, like that's what you experienced growing up. So
Right.
It's you.
the fact that she was recognizing that at such an early time period is so interesting to see.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's again very nuanced. And I think her experience losing her mom and just growing up again, like I said earlier, in the shadow of
Mhm.
everything her mom stood for, and growing up as a woman back then as well,
Yeah.
probably just helped her develop very emotional, like a lot of emotional intelligence.
a lot of social emotional concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this brings us to the biggest question of what actually makes someone human. Okay, so now that we've talked about the monster, the historical context, how this was brought about in the first place, I think we can finally get into the Guillermo del Toro interpretation of this film.
Mhm.
And I'm so excited because I think he did as good as we could hope.
Better than I hoped.
Yeah, seriously. He's someone who
He did
is
some justice.
truly obsessed with the story, and he really, really understands the nuances of the character's story and the character's development, to the point that I'm kind of surprised that it took this long for him to make this story, because he should have done this a long time ago.
I agree.
We were missing this.
Yeah.
First of all, in many of Guillermo del Toro's films, if you've ever seen them, you know, he loves the misunderstood villain. He's great at portraying the misunderstood villain. They're not just monsters, but they're outsiders. If you've seen Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy, have you seen either of those?
I've seen the
Hellboy.
Hellboy movies, yeah.
Okay, so they're not really monsters, but they're outsiders. It's a common theme in his works, which kind of echoes Shelley's own perspective in Frankenstein. The monster is not just some violent fiend. He's intelligent, he's emotional, and he's deeply, deeply lonely and isolated. Del Toro's kind of been telling this exact story over and over again through all types of different characters, which is really interesting throughout his entire career.
Yeah, because Hellboy is very much like people see him, they're scared of him, they think he's from hell, like, which technically he is like a demon of sorts, but he's a hero at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he's just not seen or heard as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see like this is his element.
Yeah. He loves the demonized hero.
And he's always been obsessed with Frankenstein, and it just makes so much sense when
Yeah.
you see the things that he's created. He's really amazing at combining horror and tragedy. I think it's pretty clear that he tells really tragic stories through the lens of horror and uses like horror elements to tell his stories.
Absolutely.
Because with tragedy comes horror, and he's really good at kind of summing that up. And he understands that horror is all kinds of emotions. It's not just fear. It's grief, it's loneliness, it's isolation, it's sadness, it's happiness even, and then it's fear. Fear is just a part of like the whole genre of horror. And that's something that he's really, really good about expressing in his works. And all this makes so much sense why he's obsessed with Frankenstein, because this is the story of Frankenstein. He collects Frankenstein art, He studies and recreates this creature over and over and over again in his stories. He's very outspoken about his love for the story and how much it resonates with him. And I think for him, this is a very personal project that he's taken on. And it just, like, there's no director that I think could have done a better job at making this story like he did.
For sure.
So I want to hear your opinions on this. Based on what you've understood about the book and the fact that you've both seen the movie, do you think he is echoing the same position as Mary Shelley? Or do you think he kind of takes on his whole new, fresh perspective on the story?
I feel like he definitely approaches it in the same way. He does kind of show a different way of demonization of the monster than the book does itself, but either way it still shows society outcasting him.
Yeah.
It's just more centered, I feel like. I guess I haven't seen the ending. Does the mob scene still happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, in a sense. Not the exact same way that it happens in the novel.
Okay, because I just feel like the way he goes about it is much more like interpersonal.
Yes.
Like, it's the way that Victor demonizes him versus in the book is much more mean than what in the book it's more so like ignoring, but in the movie it's much more punishing.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it. So that's the main thing I see in the film. That's how he demonizes his character.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I think I kind of see that too.
I think it does kind of approach the monster's attempts of integrating into society differently. Like you said, when he looks in the mirror and he's like, look at what you've made, basically, and like connecting that back to Victor. I don't remember that exactly happening in the movie. Once he starts to learn and has the ability to form sentences and thoughts properly, he realizes like the trauma that Victor has put on him.
Right.
And the way he's made him into what he feels is a monster, even if he isn't what he's viewed as.
Right. Nyhia, do you think he takes the same position as Mary Shelley, or do you think he brings his own perspective?
I feel like I kind of agree with what Brody was saying. Like in the beginning, I feel like the main aspects of it, it's basically the same. Like he keeps in track with what she was writing about and like her deeper aspects of it. I feel like he kind of just puts a little bit of his own twist into it.
Absolutely.
To kind of just make his own way of storytelling.
Yeah, and there's obviously some differences between the novel and the movie. Part of this is the fact that it's a movie format, so it's going to be different than a book, but also the fact that it's his own interpretation of the story and his own, like, he's putting himself into the story, just like he's put himself into Hellboy and he's put himself into Pan's Labyrinth. So I think you could definitely see that in this movie versus in the novel itself.
Yeah.
Brody, I think what you brought up about the whole interpersonality about this story, this adaptation, is really interesting, and it kind of brings me to my next point. Shelley's creature is very incredibly emotionally intelligent and hyper aware of their own existence. But a lot of older film versions turned him into just this silent brute who didn't have this emotional intelligence, who was just kind of there.
Yeah.
And Del Toro seems to be one of the few directors who would never take the shortcut, which I think is why his career led him here.
He was made to envision a way to bring it to the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is, why do you think it took so long for an adaptation to finally depict him as Shelley intended him to be depicted?
I feel like if you Google Frankenstein movies, there's at least 20.
Right.
Like there's a ton of movies from the 1987 all the way to now. Like there's so many films, but they've always just focused on, like you said, just the dumbed down version of Frankenstein. They've never really thought it out. I feel like a lot of the times filmmakers just hear, and maybe this is just my opinion because I don't know what they think or what they go through to make the stories, or make the films. But I feel like a lot of the times maybe they just hear of something or hear of a character and they're fascinated with it. So then they're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to run with that. Yeah. And they don't really all the time look into the background of the character, of what made the character be so known for all these years.
That's a really good point.
My thing is, I feel like it's kind of what you were talking about with Guillermo del Toro was kind of made to bring this to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Frankenstein is so much beyond what is like given to you at face value. Like
Yeah.
people kind of think like, oh, creature film, monster film, and they try to make that, I feel
Right.
like. But he was trying to make the story. He wasn't trying to make the character.
Yeah, that's a really good way
The
to put
story
it.
come to life.
And
Yeah.
he understood the nuances of, like I said earlier, the nuances of the characters.
Right.
He understood how complex the storyline was.
Exactly.
And how, I think, again, this is what I also said earlier, is I think if you don't get the characterization right, you don't get the story right.
Right.
In order to understand the story that Shelley was trying to tell, you have to understand his characterization and you have to get it right. If you don't have that, it's not the same story.
I feel like you
Yeah.
also have to be passionate about what the story is.
Right.
If you're not passionate about the purpose of Frankenstein, then you're just not passionate about the whole story. Like you're not going to be able to grasp how deep it could be.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too. So, obviously, Brody, he's on your Hear Me Out cake.
My man.
So we have to talk about Jacob Elordi's performance as the monster, because I didn't really know what to expect, but I was shocked. So I'll just put it that
I
way.
agree.
I feel like Jacob Elordi kind of was given the like Timothée Chalamet treatment, like they were blowing up
Right.
Timothée Chalamet more for his actual acting chops, and Jacob
Mhm.
Elordi was kind of just, I feel like it was more focused on like his height and his attractiveness, and wasn't as much about how good of an actor he is. And then I feel like this really showed like he can do that.
Yeah.
I will say, did you see why he said he felt like he really wanted to be in Frankenstein?
I did not.
Apparently he said years ago, during the whole like beginning of Euphoria, he got a lot of hate comments, and one of them said, "This guy sucks, he should be Frankenstein." And he was like, you know what, that's great, I'm
How
gonna do it.
ironic.
Yeah.
And here we
Here are
thought
today.
that it was gonna be like a dumbed down version of Frankenstein, like he couldn't do anything, couldn't talk, whatever the fuck.
Okay, so we had some technical difficulties. Those mics kind of sucked anyways, you know. But my cat just broke our microphones and destroyed my phone. If you want to see a little clip of it, I guess I could have it playing right now. But so now me and Nyhia are going to be passing this microphone back and forth. And yeah.
The show
but
must go on.
The show must go on. So back to Jacob Elordi.
Oh yeah. So my question is, what are your opinions on casting him as the monster?
I think overall he did a phenomenal job, and just everything that I've been seeing with behind the scenes, he was really invested in the whole creation. I think it was like 11 hours in makeup or something like that, and like he
I believe
really was taking the time in between the makeup sessions to get into the character. And he was saying how it wasn't that long he basically appreciated the time he had to start developing and just engaging himself in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he did do very well. I was like honestly kind of surprised by his performance. Like I think his like development from Euphoria, where he like first blew up, and then Saltburn was also, I was very impressed with his performance there, but this was just so different from everything else he's done. And I do think he did so good at like being able to bring the idea to life. Personally, to me, he was completely unrecognizable. Like I kept forgetting it was him.
That's exactly, and that's what I said out loud when I was watching the movie, is this doesn't feel like him. Like
Right.
it does, but it doesn't.
No, yeah.
He did such a good job that you forget who the actor is.
Yeah.
He's just the character.
Which is what really matters when you are doing a film like that.
Right.
I don't want to be sitting here like, oh, this is Jacob Elordi. I want to be like, oh, this is Frankenstein. And that is how I felt watching that movie.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think a reason why he was just meant for this role also is his characters are often very emotionally vulnerable and sensitive, but deeply disturbed and also hurt by the world's rejection of them. I think especially Euphoria, where he plays Nate Jacobs, a very emotionally disturbed character, violent, manipulative, horrifying person, not a good person, but at the same time deeply traumatized by his relationship with his father, and like it's very nuanced, and you see why he acts the way he acts because of the situation he's going through at home. Not that it justifies anything, of course,
Right.
but you see where it stems from. Just like the monster does horrible things, kills people, but you see where that comes from. It's very nuanced and very just an emotionally sensitive person, and I think he's just really good at playing those characters and portraying that type of person.
Right.
Also, obviously, physical appearance. He's tall and he's lanky as hell, so that's perfect for this monster.
For real. You
didn't need to exaggerate much there.
I'm so sorry to say this, but I'm pretty sure he's 6'7".
Oh my god.
No, like, I'm serious though. I'm
Yeah, he's tall as hell.
I'm still like, what do you mean? Sorry to say that. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, he's really good at playing characters who are just vulnerable, but also menacing at the same time.
And the fact that he's so tall, so big, such a broad man, and you're still able to see the vulnerability in him.
Yeah.
And you can see it on his face.
he
You
looks
can
scared
exactly.
so often, so like fragile.
And you even see
Yes.
after he's done
Uncomfortable.
something
Shaking.
violent, he's horrified by it. He doesn't want to do
scares
that.
himself.
Yeah.
Quick correction, he is only 6'5".
Okay,
I
close
take
enough.
my 6'7" compliment.
Either way, he's tall as hell.
Yeah.
Tall enough. I couldn't tell the difference.
Smash.
Yeah, so that's why he's on the Hear Me Out cake. So I was very unsure about how to feel about the casting. I just kind of thought, again, it was like it's because he's a popular
It's because
actor
he
of the
has
time.
attention now, so
Right.
let's throw him in another movie.
That's kind of how I felt about it, and I didn't really know how to feel about it, but obviously I think the right choice was made with him. I think Elordi did an amazing job at embodying Del Toro's vision, which was a monster that isn't just a monster. He's a character who has his own dignity, and this is really what lines up with the central tragedy of Frankenstein. It's just a monster that wasn't born a monster, but became one through all the loneliness and rejection that they faced and experienced throughout the whole journey of their
Absolutely.
existence.
Yeah.
So, any last thoughts right now that you guys have on your mind?
Personally, I do want to say, I still haven't finished the movie, and I'm gonna finish it at this point, right when we end this, because I feel like I need that.
You
lore
do.
Yeah,
now,
you do.
especially after this
It's so
in-depth conversation. I'm like, wait, no, I need to lock in.
That's 30 minutes of your life.
It really is. The ending, it
is.
just wraps everything up so
It's
well.
so heavenly. And like, honestly, I was going to say a part that really, really hit me for his vulnerability, but I'm realizing you have not seen that.
Okay,
So
I'll see it one day.
Be
And
prepared
if you
for that.
haven't seen it, you need to go watch it.
Go
It's on
watch.
Netflix. It's worth it.
it is.
Shout out Netflix, not sponsored.
Not
Don't
sponsored.
take it off.
Although they could sponsor us.
They could.
I would
Hey,
love that.
shout out, reach out.
So that pretty much brings us to the end of today's deep dive into Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and obviously Guillermo del Toro's reigniting of this story. This story will continue to reanimate itself with every generation because to this day we still do not have answers to all the questions that Shelley raises in the story. However, we do understand that monsters can take many forms. Sometimes they're 8 feet tall and assembled from random body parts, and sometimes they are overly ambitious and willing to stop at nothing to get what they want. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who loves a good horror classic. And seriously, we'd love to hear what you think. What part of Frankenstein's story stuck with you the most? If you've seen the movie, if you've read the novel, whatever it is, please leave a comment and let us know. And what are you hoping to see in Del Toro's version or in any versions in the future? Or who would you like to see as Frankenstein if it wasn't Jacob Elordi? It's another interesting thing I'd like to talk about. Okay, so I think that's everything.
Yeah, and then next week we're gonna be doing pop culture crimes, which I will
Yes.
be leading. They're not real crimes. Well, yeah, no, they're not real crimes, but like, you know, they're just like crazy things in pop culture, and I just thought crimes was like cute to add there on the end. But we'll be joined by our bestie Lexi. She'll be joining us for that episode.
Yes, we have another special guest, so
Yes. And
tune in
then-
for that.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I hope you guys stay safe.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.